Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. The downside of being chased by women. This podcast is sponsored by X-Wolf Testosterone Builder. Gentlemen, are you struggling in the body, sex, or mental game? Need to keep pace with multiple women? There is an answer for you. X Labs presents a proven line of products to help in those areas. Our X-Wolf Testosterone Booster aids in intense workouts in the gym and in the bedroom. Increased blood flow and a heightened libido are just a few of the many benefits. X-Wolf contains all natural ingredients that have been used in Eastern medicine for centuries. All products come with a 30-day free trial and free standard shipping. Use code ROM10 for an additional 10% off through February 1st. Click the link below in the description box to find out more. Quantities are limited. Make a select choice, unleash your inner wolf, and lead the pack today. Yeah, the downside of being chased by women. Now, I know many men hear that and they like, Rom, a downside to being chased by women? You know, it's like, wow, how can that be? Because I know a lot of, you get different schools of thought about, either chasing the women, approaching them, or letting the women choose you and come to you. And, let me just say again, the whole choice thing just mean they opening the door. They ain't necessarily chasing you. But that being said, you're going to get some guys because of a combination of their, it's a combination of how they look, their aura, how they carry themselves, where the women are going to be more aggressive. At the very least, the women gonna put themselves in the path, or they gonna make it extremely easy on one end, or on the other end, they just gonna come right up to the dude. Some of them might be like, hey, you fine and all of that. Now, I'm gonna say this is something I can speak on from personal experience, because y'all notice I don't really talk about approaching that much. That's because I'm not used to it. I'm really not. And the times in my life that I have approached, usually the women acting funky, so I got to the point I just be sitting back. But, and that's cool. You get the 90. You don't have to work that hard. Might not have to spend as much money and all of that. Depending on how far you want to take it, shoot, you might even get gifts and everything. You definitely save money. Because the women, shit, they might be paying and everything. But there's a downside to that. And it's not, the downside ain't like, of course, not getting sex. You're getting the sex. Shit, like I said, they making it easy. Or chasing you, handing it to you, softball, shoot, coming over to your place with nothing on but a trench coat and some high heels. All of that. But the downside is you kind of get lazy. And there's actually a couple downsides. One, and this was something I had in my book, Nice Guys and Players. Right? You always get that one woman, especially a lot of players like true to the game players actually felt this one. You get all these women throwing it at you, but then the one woman that you want, the one woman got what you want and you trying to approach her, you don't know how to do it. Or you're not used to it, You're not used to it. You so used to it, it's like all of a sudden this other woman is like, she might even like you and stuff, feel you, but she's sitting back chilling. In fact, on my private site, I had a brother do a webinar on the art of approach. That's how deep it is. Because quite frankly, most dudes out here going to have some type of approach. That's just a reality. But what I'm speaking of now is something experienced by maybe at best that 5% who don't have to approach that much. Like I said, looks, aura, how to carry themselves, the opening and all of that. And I mean, I'm just being really sincere when I say this. That was more me because I was actually quiet and introverted most of my life. And even now I'm actually more introverted now than people realize. I can just turn it up when I need to. Or I guess I would be an ambivert because I can be both. I can be extroverted when I need to be, introverted when I prefer to be. So, but the downside, there's that one piece, but another downside is you don't really appreciate what you're getting all the time because you're used to it. You really don't. And a lot of times, and I've talked to many dudes, I've experienced this, I've talked to some other dudes. Sometimes you look back at a woman and you're like, damn, she was handing it to her. She was handing it to you, and then you just like, you didn't get into that chase thing because even despite everything, a certain extent a man has to chase. Now, for a man where they softballing it, where the women are softballing it, you still get to chase a little bit, just a little bit. But I mean, she made it so easy. It's not like you got to go through anything, because the nature of man on a deep level is to conquer. The level, and sometimes that gets like messed up. You like, and then you're not really checking out the woman, because see, another part of that whole thing is when the woman's throwing it, you didn't really have a chance to check her out. You just sitting back like, all right, yeah, she got a fat ass, so I guess I'll hit it. But you ain't have a chance to like be around her to get to know her and everything. You really don't. You like sitting back like, oh, she handing it, she don't seem too crazy. Because then at the other side of the coin, when you're doing the approaching, you're doing the chasing and stuff, even though that can be an issue too, but that's another podcast. It's like, at least you're doing the hunting, you checking her out and everything, So, and sometimes when you at that point where it's handed to you, it's like, it's almost like a muscle that is not being used. Now, I know in my case, right, like I said, I was used to it, but then I got to a point I said, nah, I got to feel something for her first. And I got to the point I started leaving those type of women alone and would only deal with a woman that I had to make some effort to get, And understand when I say effort, it just means I'm not sitting back just waiting for her. I'm picking up on her signals and everything, right? I started picking up on the signals, and they were still interested, but, I was like saying, okay, let me find out about her. Got to the point, and like most of this was when I was younger. I just developed a point where I say, okay, I'm going to get to know her. I'm going to get to see what's up, And it got to the point, even if they were handing it to me, but I wasn't feeling them. I was like, nah, not this one. Because, you still get some, you being chased, you still got control. But then that muscle of, you don't have the same hunt muscle. I'll put it like that. You don't have that same, like, drive. You don't want to get to know them. And then sometimes, too, you can lose out on actually a good one. Guys like that. Like I said, I know a lot of guys can't relate, but you can lose out on a good one. Because it's like she's handing it, you take it. So you ain't trying to find out, like, she's a good person, supportive person, all of that. Because actually in those cases where the woman is handing it to you, that's more of a lust thing anyway. It really is. It's just more of a lust thing. So you ain't really worried about, you ain't worried about what type of mother she'll make, or you're not finding out other parts of her personality. Because, see, that's one thing people have to understand, especially a lot of men. The way a woman behaves in lust and the way she behaves in, like, surface world civilized behavior are two different things. In fact, women can be contradictory. So when you see that lust, you see the lust part, and yeah, you get yours and everything. But then you're not seeing other stuff that could actually be to your benefit. Like, a lot of times a man can pass over an asset because he's only seeing one aspect of her. And usually if a guy has it like that, there's probably 2 or 3 women throwing it to him. And then that's why you'll get some older guys. Honestly, you get some guys maybe in their 40s or something. They've been long-time players, and they'll say, you know what? There was a woman who was throwing it. She was doing all this. She was a very good woman. Like I said, everybody can't relate to this. They don't need to. But, I'm talking to the actual players out there for this one. Everybody else can just listen. But, there's some assets, because you only saw the sex part. And, yeah, she an asset in the bedroom, but, she could have been an asset outside of it. And that's the downside. That's the downside. Sometimes even being too much in the shadow world. Because I get a lot of coaching clients who, believe it or not, are more select. Like, when we talk, I don't have to tell them basic stuff on how to get women. They already got it. But then just getting that good woman. Like I said, and that goes back to nice guys and players. That goes back to nice guys and players. And that was on the back cover. I said, are you a player who can get every woman except the one you really want? And that's one of the things. That's one of the things. You don't see as much of the personality or the asset, what they can bring to the table other than the sex, because they're handing you the sex. You know, and then you get to the point you might get jaded, or you just say, I don't even care about that other stuff. So that's the only downside. Now, I know some people are like, oh, well, I wish I had that downside. Depends on your perspective. So anyway, right, like I said, just to be clear, this ain't most guys. This ain't most guys. They best 5% of guys are going to experience that a lot. But one of the things I'm going to be doing is speaking more and more. And I've been saying that. But, sometimes I'm dipping into the other side. But, really speak to those guys on that. Because I talk to so many. It's like you get everybody except that one woman. But, or it's like a woman they got to work a little bit hard for. And it's just like, I don't know. So anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.